welcome to English Vibes Hub. I'm your host, Emma, and I'm excited to be here today with Liam to talk about something really useful for all of you who are learning English: daily English conversations at the doctor's office. Liam, have you ever had to visit a doctor in an English-speaking country?
Actually, yes, Emma. I once had to go to the doctor when I was traveling in the United States. It was a bit nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure how to explain my symptoms in English, but the doctor was really helpful and patient, which made the experience much better. It made me realize how important it is to know the right vocabulary and phrases when discussing health issues in English.
That's a great point, Liam. Knowing the right phrases can make a big difference. Let's start with some basic phrasal verbs that you might use when talking to a doctor. One of them is to check in. This means to register or sign in when you arrive at the doctor's office. For example, I need to check in at the reception desk before my appointment.
That's really helpful, Emma. Another phrasal verb that comes to mind is to fill out. This means to complete a form with your personal and medical information. So you might say, I need to fill out this medical history form before I can see the doctor.
Exactly. And then there's to follow up, which means to check on the progress of your treatment or to schedule another appointment. For instance, I need to follow up with my doctor to get the results of my test. Let's practice using these phrasal verbs in a conversation. Liam, can you start by making an appointment over the phone?
Sure, here goes. Hello, I'd like to make an appointment with Dr. Smith, please. Now it's your turn, Emma. You're the receptionist. How would you respond?
Okay, let me check the doctor's schedule. What seems to be the reason for your visit? Now, Liam, you can explain your symptoms, and we can continue the conversation from there.
Great, I've been feeling unwell for the past few days with a fever and a cough. I think I might have caught a cold. Your turn again, Emma.
All right, the doctor can see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. In the meantime, can you please fill out our new patient form on our website and bring it with you to the appointment? Now, let's talk about another useful idiom, to be on the mend. This means to be recovering from an illness or injury. For example, after a week of bed rest, I'm finally on the mend.
That's a good one, Emma. It's always reassuring to know you're on the mend after being sick. Another idiom that might be useful is to take it easy, which means to rest and avoid strenuous activities in order to recover. So you might say, the doctor told me to take it easy for the next few days and avoid heavy lifting.
Absolutely, Liam. Taking it easy is crucial when you're not feeling well. Let's practice using these idioms in a conversation. I'll start. I've been feeling really under the weather lately, so I'm going to take it easy this weekend. Your turn.
That sounds like a good plan, Emma. Maybe we can catch up next week when you're feeling better and on the mend. In the meantime, is there anything I can do to help you out?
Thanks for offering, Liam. Actually, could you help me pick up some medication from the pharmacy? I don't feel well enough to go out. Now, let's discuss another important aspect of doctor's office conversations: describing your symptoms. What are some common phrases people use to describe how they're feeling?
Well, Emma, people often say I've been experiencing followed by their symptoms. For example, I've been experiencing a lot of pain in my back lately, or I've had a persistent cough for the past week.
Those are great examples, Liam. Being able to describe your symptoms clearly is so important. Another useful phrase is to be bothered by something. For instance, I've been bothered by headaches lately. Let's keep practicing and see how we can apply these phrases in different scenarios.
Sounds good to me, Emma. Maybe we can role-play a scenario where I'm the patient and you're the doctor. That way, we can practice using all these phrases in context.
That's a fantastic idea, Liam. Let's get started. As the doctor, I'll begin by asking, what brings you to the office today? And then we can take it from there, using as many of the phrasal verbs and idioms as we can.
Perfect. I've been having some trouble with my stomach, and I'm not sure what's causing it. I've been feeling nauseous and dizzy. Now it's your turn again, Emma.
Okay, let's take a look at your medical history. Have you traveled recently or eaten anything unusual? This is where knowing how to describe your symptoms and medical history in English becomes really important.
That's a good point, Emma. Being able to communicate effectively with your doctor can make a big difference in your care. Let's keep exploring how to do that effectively in English.
Exactly, Liam. And that's where we'll pick up in our next segment. We'll continue to explore more phrases, idioms, and scenarios to help you master daily English conversations at the doctor's office. Stay with us. Welcome back to English Vibes Hub, everyone. I'm Emma, and I'm here with Liam. In our last segment, we were discussing some essential phrases to use when you're at the doctor's office. Liam, can you tell us a little bit about your last visit to the doctor?
Actually, Emma, I went to the doctor a few weeks ago because I wasn't feeling well. I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and then the nurse came in to take my vitals. It was a pretty straightforward visit, but it got me thinking about how important it is to be able to communicate effectively with your doctor.
That's so true, Liam. Being able to explain your symptoms and understand what the doctor is telling, you can make all the difference in getting the right diagnosis and treatment. Let's talk about some more phrasal verbs that can be helpful in this situation. For example, if you're not feeling well, you might need to rule out certain possibilities. Can you explain what that means, Liam?
Right, Emma? To rule out something means to eliminate it as a possibility. For example, if you're experiencing some symptoms and the doctor thinks it might be a virus, but then they do some tests and realize it's not a virus, they can rule out that possibility and start looking for other causes.
Exactly. And another phrasal verb that's commonly used in medical contexts is to narrow down. This means to reduce the number of possibilities and focus on the most likely causes. For instance, if you're experiencing some symptoms and the doctor is trying to figure out what's causing them, they might narrow down the list of potential causes by doing some tests and asking you more questions.
I see what you mean, Emma. It's like a process of elimination. And speaking of elimination, another phrasal verb that comes to mind is to get to the bottom of something. This means to find the root cause of a problem or to get to the underlying truth. For example, if you're experiencing some mysterious symptoms and the doctor is trying to figure out what's causing them, they might try to get to the bottom of the issue by doing some more tests and asking you more questions.
That's a great example, Liam. And let's not forget about the idiom to take it with a grain of salt. This means to be skeptical or cautious and not to take something at face value. For example, if someone tells you that a certain remedy is guaranteed to cure your illness, you might want to take it with a grain of salt and do some more research before trying it.
I love that idiom, Emma. It's so useful in all sorts of situations, not just medical ones. And it reminds me of another idiom, to be on the same page. This means to be in agreement or to have a shared understanding of something. For example, if you're discussing your treatment options with your doctor, you'll want to make sure you're on the same page so that you can work together to find the best solution.
Absolutely, Liam. Being on the same page is crucial in any kind of communication, but especially in a medical context where the stakes can be high. Okay, let's do a role play to practice some of these phrases and idioms in context. Liam, can you be the doctor and I'll be the patient?
Sounds good, Emma. Let's get started. So what seems to be the problem today?
Well, doctor, I've been experiencing some symptoms that I'm not sure about. I've been feeling really tired and I've had a headache for a few days. I'm not sure what's causing it, but I was hoping we could rule out some possibilities and narrow down the list of potential causes.
Okay, let's take a look. Can you tell me more about your symptoms? When did they start and how have they been progressing?
Well, the fatigue started about a week ago, and the headache started a few days ago. I've been trying to get to the bottom of what's causing it, but I haven't been able to figure it out. I've been doing some research online, but I want to make sure I'm not taking it with a grain of salt and missing something important.
I understand your concerns, Emma. Let's do some tests and see if we can narrow down the list of potential causes. In the meantime, I want to make sure we're on the same page about your treatment options. Can you tell me a bit more about what you're hoping to achieve with your treatment?
Well, doctor, I'm hoping to find a solution that will help me feel better and get back to my normal routine. I'm open to trying different treatments, but I want to make sure we're ruling out any options that might not be effective or that might have negative side effects.
That makes sense, Emma. Let's work together to find a solution that's right for you. I'll prescribe you some medication, and we can follow up in a few days to see how you're doing. In the meantime, I want you to keep an eye on your symptoms and let me know if anything changes.
Sounds good, doctor. I feel like we're on the same page now, and I'm confident that we can get to the bottom of this issue. Thanks for your help.
You're welcome, Emma. I'm glad we could have this conversation and clear the air about your symptoms. Let's touch base in a few days and see how you're doing, okay?
Okay, sounds good. I'll stay on top of my symptoms and let you know if anything changes. Thanks again for your help, doctor.
No problem, Emma. That's what I'm here for. Let's keep in touch and make sure you're feeling better soon.
I'd like that, doctor. It's been really helpful talking to you and bouncing ideas off you. I feel like I have a better understanding of what's going on and what I need to do to get better.
That's great to hear, Emma. I'm glad we could have this conversation and hash out some of the details. Let's check in again soon and see how you're progressing, okay?
Okay, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. And in the meantime, I'll keep you posted on my progress and let you know if I have any questions or concerns.
Sounds like a plan, Emma. I'll stay tuned for your updates and we can regroup if needed. Take care and feel better soon.
Thanks, doctor. I will. And I'll keep my fingers crossed that we can crack the code and figure out what's going on with my symptoms.
I'm confident that we will, Emma. We'll leave no stone unturned and make sure we explore all avenues to find a solution. Let's take it one step at a time and see how things progress, okay?
Okay, sounds good. I'm feeling more hopeful now that we've had this conversation and mapped out a plan. Let's move forward and see what happens, okay?
Absolutely, Emma. I'm glad we could have this conversation and set the stage for your recovery. Let's keep the ball rolling and make sure you're on the road to feeling better soon.
I'd like that, doctor. It's been really helpful talking to you and ironing out some of the details. I feel like I have a better understanding of what's going on and what I need to do to get better.
That's great to hear, Emma. I'm glad we could have this conversation and put the pieces together. Let's check in again soon and see how you're progressing, okay?
Okay, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. And in the meantime, I'll stay on track and make sure I'm doing everything I can to get better.
That's a great attitude to have, Emma. Staying on track is all about maintaining your focus and motivation. I think it's essential for anyone who's trying to learn a new language or recover from an illness.
Absolutely, Liam. And it's not just about the end goal, it's about the little steps you take every day to get there. Speaking of which, let's talk about some phrasal verbs that can help our listeners pick up the pace and improve their English conversation skills.
I love that idea, Emma. One phrasal verb that comes to mind is brush up on something. It means to review or practice something you already know, but maybe haven't done in a while. For example, I need to brush up on my Spanish before I travel to Spain next month.
That's a great example, Liam. Another phrasal verb that's really useful is fill someone in on something. It means to give someone all the information they need to know about a particular topic or situation. For instance, I'll fill you in on what happened at the meeting yesterday.
I like that one, Emma. It's really helpful when you're trying to catch someone up on a conversation or a project. And what about get around to something? It means to finally do something you've been putting off or delaying. For example, I've been meaning to learn how to play the guitar, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
That's a good one, Liam. I think we've all been there at some point or another. And finally, let's talk about look back on something. It means to think about something that happened in the past and reflect on it. For example, I look back on my time at university and realize how much I learned and grew as a person.
I love that one, Emma. It's so important to reflect on our experiences and learn from them. And I think that's a great way to wrap up our conversation today. We've covered a lot of ground and explored some really useful phrasal verbs and idioms.
Definitely, Liam. I think our listeners will find these examples really helpful in their own English conversations. And remember, practice is key, so try to use these phrasal verbs and idioms in your own conversations as much as possible.
Absolutely, Emma. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's all part of the learning process. Just keep at it and you'll see improvement over time.
That's great advice, Liam. And I think it's also important to mix it up and try different types of conversations and activities to keep things interesting and prevent boredom.
I completely agree, Emma. Variety is the spice of life, after all. And speaking of variety, we've had a great time chatting with you all about daily English conversations at the doctor's office.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun. And we hope you've learned some new phrases and strategies to help you navigate these types of conversations with confidence.
So to recap, we've covered topics like making appointments, describing symptoms, and discussing treatment options. And we've also explored some really useful phrasal verbs and idioms to help you improve your English conversation skills.
That's right, Liam. And we hope you found these examples and explanations helpful. Remember to practice regularly, and don't be afraid to try new things. That's the best way to improve your English skills.
I think that's all the time we have for today, Emma. But before we go, let's talk about what's coming up next on EnglishVibesHub.
Yes, we have some exciting new episodes planned, including a conversation about shopping at the grocery store and another one about making plans for the weekend.
That sounds like a lot of fun, Emma, and I know our listeners are going to love those episodes, so be sure to tune in and join the conversation.
Definitely, Liam. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more English conversation lessons and tips.
That's right, Emma. We appreciate all of your support and feedback. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Vibes Hub.
Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to follow us on social media at EnglishVibesHub 6W for more updates and behind-the-scenes content.